Hello, brothers and sisters. Oh, Lord, every time you turn around, there's something going on. I want to talk to you about this Buffalo shooting. I don't usually bring videos about news, but this one is very important, as well as all of them, against God's holy chosen people. The thing we must understand, though, is God, Most High, Yahweh, is calling his children out. I've been bringing these videos by the Holy Spirit, forgive the sink full of dishes, because it's supposed to be my grocery shopping day and cleaning up my kitchen. And that's sort of what brought me to this point of, doing a video about this Buffalo shooting at this supermarket, in New York, and how this, people call him young man, but the Most High calls him a beast, a monster. And we have to understand that although we're God's people, we still have a duty to obey. Now, when I went in prayer a couple of days ago and just, going to meditate and speak with the Lord, I saw him crying. I mean, really crying. Tears just streaming down his face. He allows me sometimes to see him and Yeshua HaMashiach in the spirit. And he's crying, and I get ready to, how you want to console someone. You can't really, console God, but I had this feeling like I want to console him and say it's okay. And I saw Yeshua. He was to the left, and he put his finger up like this, like, don't say anything. Just let the Most High grieve over his burnt bronze children. And I believe he was grieving and crying because not only was he grieving that they were shot down by a monster, the seed of monsters, but that he's been calling them out. He's been trying so hard in the last 4 or 5 years to call his children out, and they don't listen. They go on listening to man versus listening to him. And this is breaking his heart. He wants us to listen to him. And I think one of the main things that we don't understand, especially those who are not quite awakened yet, is that when we're not in the will or the laws of God, we allow ourselves to be hunted. That thing happened on a Saturday. We call it Saturday, but that is the Sabbath. The Most High gave us laws about the Sabbath. The Sabbath was something that was created long before Moses ever led the children of Israel out of bondage. This law was in force when God created the heavens and the earth. Remember, he said, in 6 days he created the heavens and the earth. In the 7th day he rested. So this was a law. This is a command that the Most High God Yahweh carried out himself. And so, as God's chosen people, you must understand you are the hunted. As long as you're in America, you're the hunted. Just let's get this straight. You are the hunted, and the hunters hate God and they hate you. Now, the only way that you're going to protect yourself at this juncture, is one, to leave America, leave Babylon, flee as the word has told you, pack up your stuff, get yourself together and get out of there. But if you're going to, dawdle around for a little while, you better understand that you better be keeping those laws, keeping that commandment, that Holy Sabbath, staying in on Friday evening to Saturday and Saturday evening. That's one of your main protections. And even the Bible tells you that by keeping his Holy Sabbath, you receive protection, as well as paying those tithes. And when I say tithes, I ain't mean can it to a mega church. I mean take that money, set it aside, that 10%, and give it to where Yahweh Most High has commanded you. Maybe it's the homeless down the street. Maybe it's a neighbor the Lord has been speaking to you about. Those things will help protect you from the evil one. But as this thing walks down, you got to understand that Yahweh has his wrath aimed and pointed at the Gentile kingdom, the European Gentile kingdoms. And as long as you stay there, You're causing things to be more troublesome for you and your family. Now, he gave me a few things the other day that he wanted me to tell you to do and how to prepare. And one of the things is he says, before I get to that though, here's something he mentioned. Isaiah 3:12 says, "O my people, oppressed by a lad." Lad means a boy. These Gentile kingdoms are led by boys. They're not men. Okay. Oppressed by a lad and ruled by women. And you got to read what God is saying through the prophet. He ain't just saying ruled by a little boy, 9 years old. He's talking about grown men that are like boys. Their mind, their intellect, and their will is like a child. Okay, then it says, and ruled by women. What does that mean? All the women are not ruling America. No, but when you get right down to it, it's the Gentile kingdoms, the males and the females create the laws. They destroy God's chosen people. And not just that. You rule by a lad, a boy, but you also rule by homosexual agenda, which is a feminine spirit, which wants this. As you can see, it's been like a storm in the last few years, trying to make righteous people submit to what it wants. So you're being ruled by this force of darkness, and men and women who have no mind, no capacity to make wise and just decisions. So if you want to keep being ruled over by boys, because if you think about this, a few shootings before this one. That young man that shot during the riots and killed someone during the riots a year or so ago. He basically got off with a pat on the back. So this sends a message to the rest of the monsters that it's open season. And even if you get caught, you're not going to have to worry about going to jail or going to prison. In some way, somehow, they'll let you slip under the radar. So the ones at the top, the rulers of this kingdom, are like boys. They're like children themselves. When they see these young men shooting people up, the first thought is not, "Oh my God." The first thought is, "Oh, he looks like he could be my son." Okay, I'm going to leave that right there for you to think on. Why are you sitting at your house? Why are you making more plans to stay in America? You think on that for a while. When you have no justice, you have no protection from evil through the rulers of a nation, you are really the hunted. On every level, you're the hunted. Now, let me tell you what the Most High God spoke to me the other day to tell you. He said, warn my people. He said, Yahweh speaks in soft, quiet voices. He says he speaks in soft voices. So when you get this little feeling like, wow, I feel like we need to get out of here. It's not going to be a shout. It's going to be a soft, calm voice in your spirit, in your thoughts. He said, listen, don't ignore it. Pray asking for confirmation. Then he says, move by the Spirit. Turn off all the other voices. Stop watching that TV so much. Stop listening to that news. Stop going down that rabbit hole on your phone of videos. Lord knows I've done it myself, so I know it happens. Ask for help, courage, and strength. Don't just say, well, I'm afraid. I know I can't leave. And you let that fear just stop you right there. You don't think no more about trying. You don't think no more about making plans. No, everybody's going to be a little afraid. But the Most High Yahweh said, ask him for courage. Pray for strength and courage, and he will give you that strength and courage to do what you need to do. That's your part. All you have to do is pray and ask. What did it say? It says, you need more wisdom, ask for it, and he will give it to you. He's faithful. He said, don't doubt and be ashamed to tell him that you're afraid. If you're afraid to leave a place that you've lived all your life, leave relatives and friends you've known all your life, that's understandable. God Most High knows that. But you've got to trust him or else it won't work. Okay, then he says, a lot of people think, I got to do this, I got to do that. Thinking from that Gentile pagan mindset that I've got to have all this money, I've got to save for a few years. No. You pray and you ask Yahweh, when do you want me to go? Where do you want me to go? And then you start processing that. Don't go by your intellect. Don't go by that stupid college degree that you have learned to rely on, that you've learned to worship, that you've learned to give your security through to man. And man can't help you at this hour. God is bringing down, as I told you, a time of reckoning. This is the hour of reckoning for the European Gentile kingdoms. And if you keep standing in the line of fire, you're only causing more harm to yourself and your children. Okay. Then he says, keep the laws. You can't think that you can be in America, not keep the holy true Sabbath, and not give your tithes and offerings. And now I ain't talking about giving it to a mega church. I'm talking about give it to the poor, the needy. Take that 10%, separate it out so you acknowledge Yahweh. Even though you're in a land of darkness, as long as you're acknowledging Yahweh, he's going to help you do what you need to do. Okay, that's another point I want to bring up. It's been a few weeks ago, and a beautiful couple called me and wanted to talk to me about their plans. They had been having that prompting, that urging in their spirit to leave America. And so I always try to pray before I give anyone advice, especially personal advice. So before we got on the phone, I went to my room and I prayed. And I said, Lord, Most High, in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, I want to ask you, you know these two people. You know what you want for them. You know your plans for them. And I want to ask you, what is your will for these people? So when I talk to them on the phone, I can tell them what he's saying, not what I'm saying. And as I am on my bed praying with my eyes closed, hallelujah, I see the continent of America, the entire continent, as if I'm an eagle and I'm looking down on this continent. But this continent is pitch black, dark. And the only thing I can see are little lights randomly on this continent, little lights. Not enough to light up the whole continent, just little lights. You know, like as you're coming in on a plane, sometimes you see it's late at night and you see little lights here and there in rural areas. That's what I saw. And the Most High spoke to me and said, these are my chosen Hebrew people. They are the lights in America, but they must come out because this place is filled with darkness. And as they come out, it will grow more darker. So you have to understand, many black people have already left. Many burnt bronze chosen Hebrew people have already left. But there are many more that are still there. And if you stay there, as this darkness grows in America, you become the hunted. The hunters get more freedom to destroy, devour, and consume you and your children. So you must understand, this thing is real. This is happening. God can't protect a land that he has marked out for the ban. Ban means he's marked out for destruction. And if you read in the Old Testament, when he marked a nation out for destruction, if anyone took something for that nation or held on to that nation for a reason, they would be under the ban also, meaning they will be destroyed along with it. So you must understand, this is crucial right now for you to get yourself together. Get in line with God's will. Pray and seek his counsel for you and your family. I really believe this whole continent is slowly spiraling down into darkness. It will eventually, I know for sure, collapse. And as I've been warning you, by 2023 to be out, and by 2025 it will have collapsed. You must take these warnings. It is not from me. It's through your Father who has sent me to you. If you'll notice, I don't even ask giving you my little Cash App number and all the titles and stuff to send, because this is not about me. This is about the Most High calling his children out. And I want to be faithful to him. And I don't want it to be about a business. You know, it's not about a business. A lot of people are, doing that. That's their business. I'm not judging. This is about saving lives, saving souls, and getting to safety. Okay. Now next, he just spoke to me just last night. This is important. He said, this kingdom of darkness must be overthrown. It's time to overthrow this kingdom of darkness. And that is exactly what God Most High is doing. He's overthrowing this kingdom. And he wants you to come out. He said, those who are ruling are about to be brought low. This is the great reset. You know how people keep saying, oh Lord, it's a great reset, where all the rich people are resetting everything. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about watching them videos about a great reset, because let me tell you something. The greatest reset is going to be by the hand of God, Yahweh Most High. It's not the rich who are going to do a reset, God said. It's going to be him who's doing the reset. The hand of the all-powerful God, Yahweh. Because we have not listened to him and they dishonor him. And it's time for us to listen to him and walk away. And I do pray for those family members who had loved ones that were shot down in Buffalo, New York. It was tragic. It's sorrowful. It's horrific. It's a sign and a symbol that the enemy is upping his game more and more. And that those in power sit by and just turn the other way when it happens. And it's going to happen more often. And it's going to get more serious, more people. It's already serious, but it's going to be more people on a larger scale. So please, children of the Most High, burnt bronze children, please listen to the Most High calling you out to safety. I know I said I was going to bring another video finishing up the story about myself, and I am, but it seemed like this was urgent to put this video out to you, to remind you that you have a duty as God-chosen Hebrew burnt bronze people to come out and bring those precious sons and daughters out to him. They belong to him. They don't belong to the America. They don't belong to the evil one. They belong to their Father in heaven. In the name of Yeshua, I give you glory and praise. Yahweh Most High.